Uke ni kiungo muhimu zaidi katika mwili wa mwanamke na afya yake hutakiwa kuzingatiwa kila mara. Ila kama viungo vingine tu mwilini, uke pia huugua.
Actually, when I was sitting like this, I could feel it trickling. I could feel it.
Doris Murimi mwenye umri wa miaka 52 anafahamu fika madhila ya endometriosis.
I was about 13 years old, and it started with my first menses. I was a young teenager, I think one of the last in my primary class to have started her periods. But then when it came with a lot of pain.
Doris hata hivyo aliponea kutokana na mkondo wa hedhi yake iliyotokea kila baada ya miezi 4, ila miaka 2 baadaye hali yake ilidorora na kumlazimu kusaka huduma za matibabu.
In that time, all they used to look for was PID, pelvic inflammatory disease, or check us for fibroids. Now when they saw that I didn't have either, the doctors just said, don't worry, some girls, they can't handle pain, period pain, so she just needs to be a bit strong,
Miaka ikawa imepita, ila hali yake iliyozidi kudorora ilimlazimu kumtembelea mtaalamu wa magonjwa ya wanawake maarufu gynecologist.
When the ultrasound was done, they found what is known as endometriomas or chocolate cyst in my left ovary.
Katika minong'ono ya madaktari, upasuaji ukaibuka kama pendekezo bora la kudhibiti hali.
He did what you call ablation surgery to remove the endometrioma, but he found it was a real mess. That it had even the ovary had stuck to the lower back, and then they looked at my pelvic region. They saw how the adhesions and the endometriosis, all that, even going all the way to the urethra, all that part.
Hatua ya upasuaji Doris alitarajia itaondoa madhila aliyokuwa akipitia hapo mbeleni. Kinyume na matarajio yake, Doris katika kipindi cha kwanza cha hedhi baada ya upasuaji alitamani chupa yake ya uzazi kutolewa.
Usually they say that ablation surgery is not very good. The best kind of surgery for endometriosis is excision surgery when you excise it, because ablation will tend to cause more damage. Hence that's what I was going through.
In the ovaries, sometimes the blood becomes encapsulated and it's bleeding, but where it's bleeding into is sort of in a sac.
Daktari Nelly Bosire ambaye ni mtaalamu wa magonjwa ya wanawake anafafanua kwa kina jinsi endometriosis hutokea.
The little black dots represent endometriosis. And the endometriosis basically means that this special lining of ours somehow found its way outside of this uterine cavity and attached at different points anywhere in the body. And when I say anywhere, I mean literally anywhere in the body. So the commonest places we find is within the pelvis. It can be outside, attached to the uterus itself, it can be in the vagina, it can be outwards and, attaching to the ovaries, as you can see there, the fallopian tubes, can be anywhere. And wherever it is, remember these hormones, even though they are made in the ovary and they work here, for them to get from this ovary to here, they go through the bloodstream. And blood will go around the entire body, which means that it doesn't matter where this tissue will attach. This tissue will continue being responsive.
Daktari Bosire anatoa mfano wa kiungo cha uzazi wa kike, jinsi endometriosis husababisha uharibifu mahala hapo.
One of the biggest challenges we have is tubal blockage. However, the blockage might also not just be internal, it might also be external. So having inflammation, that's why you have a demonstration here where a lot of scar tissue formation happens, and this scar tissue can literally act like a thread or a piece of rope and put pressure that literally blocks off the tubes. So they may be patent, but they've been forced shut because of a lot of scar tissue around that. Because there's a lot of distortion of this tube. And whereas this should be the normal presentation, but the end of the fallopian tube, what we call the fimbriae, usually like finger-like spread out over the ovary, and this is how they are then able to pick out the ovulating egg. You can imagine what happens when it's so distorted until it's facing the wrong direction.
Licha ya kutofahamika mno kwa endometriosis, kila mmoja kati ya wanawake au wasichana 10 anaugua maradhi haya.
Most common complaint is just severe period pain. And sometimes it is so bad, there is no way to manage it, that you then may have to consider removing the entire uterus as a treatment. And it's actually stated that more than 50% of women with endometriosis will really struggle with infertility.
Yote haya Doris Murimi anafahamu bora zaidi kwa sasa kupitia kikundi alichobuni cha wanawake walio na endometriosis kwa jina Endo Sisters. Amekiandika kitabu hiki ili kuwaelimisha mabinti kuhusu afya ya uke.
The menstrual disorders education, which covers issues of endometriosis, fibroids, all these gynecological conditions, will be taught from grade 6, which is not bad at all, considering girls and boys are about 11 years old.
Ben Kirira, K24, makala ya Siha Yangu.